Chris, don't go!
The warm glow of string lights bathed the patio, creating an atmosphere that felt alive with promise. Our closest friends gathered around the table for what was supposed to be an easygoing summer game night, laughter spilling out alongside the clinking of glasses, playful jabs, and shuffled cards. The air carried a sense of joy, and in those moments, everything felt light, until it didn't. My wife, Lisa, and I had been together for 5 years, our life a delicate mix of love, raising our little boy, Ben, and carrying the weight of her long hours at work. The night began the way so many good memories do, but I never imagined it would unravel before everyone's eyes. The more the wine poured, the more unguarded the conversation became. Old relationships crept into the discussion, harmless at first, until Lisa, her cheeks flushed from her second glass, turned to me with a grin that wasn't innocent. "You know," she said, her words slicing through the laughter, "my ex was bigger in every way that matters." The air stilled. The cards sat untouched, and our friends shifted uncomfortably, their laughter fading into a heavy silence. Her smirk wasn't playful, it was a calculated jab meant to sting me where it hurt most. Lisa had mentioned Chris before, her ex, always with that soft lilt of nostalgia that pressed on the cracks of my insecurities. Just a month earlier, I'd found flirty messages from him on her phone. She brushed it off, claiming they were just old friends catching up, and though her excuse left me uneasy, I had forced myself to move on. But tonight, in front of everyone, her joke became confirmation. My suspicions were no longer whispers in my head, they were truths bleeding into the open. Instead of exploding with anger, I leaned into the silence. My voice came calm, edged with steel. "Funny, Lisa," I said slowly, letting each word land, "because Chris texted you last week saying he still dreams about you. Should I show everyone?" The color drained from her face, her smirk wiped clean as though it had never existed. Her glass trembled in her hand as her friend's eyes locked on her, waiting, questioning. "What are you talking about?" she stammered, her voice cracking under the weight of the moment. I slipped my phone from my pocket, displaying the screenshot I had saved. A message from Chris lit up the screen like a spark in the dark. "You were always the one. Call me." "Bigger, huh?" I said evenly, my eyes never leaving hers. "Seems you're still measuring him against me. Maybe you should reconnect, because I'm done being your punchline." Gasps and shifting chairs filled the space as her bravado collapsed. The girl who thought she could belittle me in front of friends sat frozen, her mask crumbling. She forced a nervous laugh, her voice thin and breaking. "It was just a joke," she whispered, reaching for my hand as though that might erase what had just been revealed. I pulled back, my gaze steady. "I think you've been texting Chris behind my back," I said, the weight of truth making the room impossibly small. "I've seen the messages, Lisa." Our friends stayed silent, some glancing away, others nodding subtly in my direction, as though acknowledging that they had seen enough too. My words didn't just cut back, they laid bare the betrayal she had tried to hide. Standing up, I thanked our friends for coming, my tone final. "Let's wrap up early," I said. Lisa stayed seated, her eyes glassy, her hands shaking as if she could hold back the wreckage she had created. As our friends left in hushed whispers, she followed me inside, tears spilling as she begged. "I didn't mean it," she cried, her voice breaking. "It was stupid." I showed her the full chat log I had saved. Weeks of messages. Plans. Promises. Flirtation turned to intent. My voice hardened. "This isn't a joke. This is betrayal." I told her to sleep in the guest room, needing space, needing silence, needing air. By morning, the storm had already spread. A friend shared what happened in our group chat, and suddenly Lisa's joke wasn't just a slip of the tongue, it was the headline of our circle. Some defended me, some demanded answers from her, and all of them knew the truth. She deleted her social media, retreating from the firestorm, but it was too late. The damage was done. And then another truth hit: Chris was married too. His wife found out, confronted him, and their contact was severed. Lisa had tried to humiliate me, but her attempt backfired spectacularly, leaving her standing in the ashes of her own making. I sent Ben to stay with my parents for a few days, shielding him from the chaos. I met with a lawyer, not ready to end my marriage yet, but needing to know my options. Lisa's calls came relentlessly, promises pouring through the phone. She swore she would cut off Chris, begged for therapy, and pleaded for forgiveness. I set conditions: no contact with him ever again, full access to her phone, counseling without excuses. She agreed, her confidence stripped, her swagger replaced with regret. The weeks that followed were heavy. Counseling unearthed truths we had both avoided: her endless hunger for validation, my tendency to stay silent under stress. Ben didn't know the details, but he felt the distance, so we worked hard to keep his world stable. Lisa's circle of friends fractured, some standing by her, others turning away in quiet judgment. But here's the truth: my comeback that night wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming my dignity. I showed her, in front of everyone, that I wouldn't play the fool. She had underestimated me, and when the room chose silence instead of laughter, her lesson was carved in stone. Now, I'm healing. I'm focused on Ben, on rediscovering who I am without being weighed down by someone else's recklessness. Lisa has grown quieter, humbled, her once loud presence dimmed. Her social media remains empty, her spotlight gone. That night, she thought her cruel little jab would tear me down. But my reply, calm and razor-sharp, flipped the script. It forced her to see the cost of her actions. She'll never test me that way again, not out of fear, but because she knows the price of betrayal. We're trying to rebuild, but trust is fragile, and I've drawn my line. If it shatters again, I'll walk away without hesitation. Our story isn't over, but it will never be the same. My words at game night didn't just silence her, they redefined the boundaries of our marriage. I'm moving forward, one step at a time, with Ben as my anchor. And I'm building a future where I'll never be anyone's punchline again.